I moved into a quiet cul-de-sac in Ohio last November. I was the youngest person on the block by at least 20 years. The day I unpacked, my next-door neighbor, a sweet-looking elderly woman named Mrs. Gable, came over with a tuna casserole. "Welcome to the neighborhood, dear," she smiled. She looked like a typical grandmother, knitted sweater, glasses on a chain. "If you ever need anything, I'm right next door. I have a spare key for most of the houses here, just in case of emergencies." I politely declined giving her a key, ate the casserole, and returned the dish the next day. Things started getting weird about a week later. I'd be in my kitchen washing dishes, and I'd see Mrs. Gable standing in her yard, staring directly into my window. She wasn't gardening or doing anything, just standing there, watching me. When I waved, she would wave back enthusiastically, as if it were normal. Then came the help. I came home from work one day to find my front porch swept and my dead plants watered. I hadn't asked her to do that. A few days later, I found a note taped to my door. "You left your bathroom light on all day, dear. Electricity is expensive." My bathroom window is on the second floor. The only way she could see that light was if she was standing in the middle of my backyard, looking up. The breaking point happened last Friday. I had the flu, so I stayed home from work. I was sleeping on the couch in the living room with the blinds drawn. Around noon, I heard the front doorknob jiggle. I froze. I hadn't blocked the deadbolt, only the handle lock. Suddenly, I heard the click of a lock-picking tool, or maybe a master key. The door creaked open. Mrs. Gable stepped inside. She wasn't carrying a casserole this time. She was holding a laundry basket. She closed the door quietly and began walking toward my staircase. She didn't see me on the couch. "Mrs. Gable?" I rasped, my voice thick with congestion. She spun around, dropping the basket. Her face didn't show fear or embarrassment. It showed anger. "You're supposed to be at work," she snapped. "Get out of my house." I sat up, grabbing my phone. "I was just going to do your laundry," she hissed, her voice changing into something low and menacing. "You don't fold your shirts correctly. I've seen them through the window. It bothers me." I threatened to call the police, and she finally left, muttering about how ungrateful I was. When I checked the laundry basket she dropped, it wasn't empty. It contained a pair of my boxers and a kitchen knife. I don't know what kind of laundry she was planning to do, but I filed a restraining order that afternoon. I bought a townhouse in a gated community in Florida. The HOA, Homeowners Association, rules were strict, and the strictest enforcer was my neighbor, a guy named Ken. Ken was overly friendly at first. He introduced himself as the captain of the neighborhood watch. He gave me a rundown of the trash schedule. Blue bin for plastics, green for paper. Don't mix them up or they won't take it. I thought he was just a bit intense, but harmless. Until I started finding my trash bags reopened. I'd tie them shut and put them in the bin at night. In the morning, the knots would be different, or the bags would be ripped open. One morning, Ken stopped me at the mailbox. "Hey, buddy," he said, too close to my face. "I noticed you threw away a receipt for a ring yesterday. Tiffany's? Who's the lucky girl?" I felt a chill. That receipt was shredded, or so I thought, and buried at the bottom of a coffee grounds bag. "That's none of your business, Ken," I said, walking away. "Just looking out for you," he called after me. "Identity theft is real." 2 nights later, I woke up at 3 a.m. to a noise outside. My bedroom overlooks the driveway. I peeked through the blinds. Ken was sitting cross-legged on my driveway, right next to my trash cans. He had my garbage bag dumped out in front of him. He wasn't just looking for recyclables. He was reading my mail. He was smoothing out crumpled pieces of paper and taking photos of them with his phone. Then, he picked up an empty soda can I had thrown away. He didn't put it in the recycling. He brought it up to his face and inhaled deeply, smelling the rim where my mouth had been. I banged on the window. "Get away from my trash, you creep!" Ken looked up. He didn't run. He just smiled, slowly gathered the trash back into the bag, and walked back to his garage. The next day, I received a letter in my mailbox. No stamp, just my name written in Ken's handwriting. Inside was a collage. He had cut out letters from my junk mail and magazines I had thrown away to form a message. "I know you better than she does." I sold the townhouse a month later. I couldn't sleep knowing he was analyzing every piece of refuse I threw out, piecing together my life like a puzzle. Living in a duplex means you get used to hearing your neighbors. But when the new guy, David, moved in next door, the walls seemed thinner than usual. David was a quiet, awkward guy in his 30s. When we bumped into each other at the mailboxes, he would always say something strange. "Did you enjoy that pepperoni pizza last night?" he asked once. Yeah," I replied, creeped out. I hadn't seen him when the delivery guy came. "And that movie you watched? The one with the explosions? Sounded intense," he chuckled. I assumed the soundproofing was just terrible. I started wearing headphones and trying to be quieter. But then, the mimicking started. I would cough in my living room. 5 seconds later, I'd hear a fake, exaggerated cough from David's side of the wall. I would drop a spoon in the kitchen. Clang. From his side, clang. He would drop something too. It felt like he was mocking me, or playing a game I didn't agree to join. One evening, I was on the phone with my sister, crying about a bad day at work. I was sitting on the floor against the shared wall. "I just feel so alone sometimes," I told her. Suddenly, a voice came through the wall, not muffled, crystal clear. "You're not alone, Sarah." It sounded like he was whispering directly into my ear. I jumped up and inspected the wall. There was a small air vent near the floorboard. I had never noticed it before because my sofa usually blocked it. I grabbed a flashlight and shined it into the vent. The vent didn't go into a duct system. It went straight through to his apartment. The grate on his side had been removed. And inside the hole, staring back at me, was a human eye. "I can take care of you," David whispered from the darkness of the hole. I screamed and kicked the sofa back against the wall. I grabbed my keys and ran out the door. When the police kicked his door down, they found out why he could hear everything so clearly. He had drilled holes all along the shared wall, behind the baseboards, behind the vents, even behind the electrical outlets. And he had a stethoscope taped to the wall near where my bed was positioned. David wasn't just a noisy neighbor. He was living my life along with me, reacting to every sound I made as if we were roommates.